to my Portland bungalow. I'm Abby Houston, and I'm so thrilled for you to be here today. I can't wait to show you around a few of the creative spaces in my home. Come on in. My favorite part of this space in the home is my gallery wall that has all sorts of artworks by local artists and friends. I love to see how they mix and match together and the different ways that they can be displayed in a really tidy and small space. Over here we have a skateboard that was designed by a former student of mine, some original art by my kids, and my screen print knockoff piece of a Roy Lichtenstein. One of the things I love about this gallery space in my living room is that there are all sorts of artworks, from fiber arts to metal collages, dancing fairies, abstract works of art, prints, art books, and illustrations by some of my favorite local artists. I have 3 kids, and as you can imagine, we come up with all sorts of knickknacks and toys. We like to put things in here that we find on the ground, also from nature. So the combination of the books, the knickknacks displayed in our sort of eclectic and funky and fun living room are really what, to me, make this space extra special and family friendly. My favorite part of our dining room is my modern green table that we purchased during COVID so that we could really make family meals feel extra special. Hanging above the table is a chandelier that was given to us by my husband's late grandparents. It used to be in their farm home, and we restored it and painted it a pretty fun color, and it is a huge part of our mealtime and tea time. What I love most about this space in the kitchen is that we try to keep it pretty simple. Back here in the former nook area that's now turned into kind of a little gallery with storage, we love to tuck things away so that we can enjoy the space and entertain both friends and family. We have open shelving in our small kitchen. I have an assortment of colorful dishes that I love to use that I've collected over the years. In the kitchen space, we love to all be in here at the same time, but it's a pretty petite space. So what I like to encourage my kids to do is to use one of the counter areas for making slime or baking, and the other area is used for food prep. What I love to do is prep things while the kids are doing homework or having a tea party, and I can be right in the action with them, but also have a little bit of separation because of the closed format of the space. I'm so thrilled to share with you the final section of my home. There are 3 parts to this sort of area. The first one is the poetry post that is out front, and that is surrounded by a little fairy garden that my children have sort of curated with little magical fairies and animals and different plants we plant every year there that come back up. The second area was the Tiny Tabor Art Gallery, which is a project that came out of the pandemic. So I built the Tiny Tabor Art Gallery and installed it in the front of our house. It has its own Instagram as well if you want to follow along there. People come and go and trade different art pieces in that gallery. It kind of is like one of the free lending libraries if you're familiar with those. We have a bench swing and my hanging baskets that kind of create this little sort of nest. It's a really awesome time in the evenings after school before dinner, and everyone kind of has a chance to reconvene at the end of the day. Kind of a fun fact about this specific space is that when we moved in, there was an old kind of failing tree that was in this space that we uprooted and took down, and then we replanted a cherry blossom tree, which blossoms every March, which is my birthday. 2 of my 3 kids are spring babies, and so every time the cherry blossom comes out, it's a reminder of the hope of spring. And then we've got our poetry post here, which I absolutely love. People will come from the entire city and they will come and check this out. Right now it has a piece of poetry and an illustration done by one of my kids. So we change this out from time to time as well. We just love what this sort of brings to the front part of our home. Okay, we're gonna head on inside and check out a few other spaces. Let's go. I'm really excited to show you the upstairs of my bungalow. It was added in the year 2011 before we purchased the home. And what makes it really special is that over 1,000 square feet of it is my home studio and classroom. I'm really thrilled to take you up there, so I'm gonna say goodbye from my home and looking forward to taking you up to my studio classroom space. Welcome to my studio classroom. I'm so excited to show you around. McGuffin and I have so many fun things to share with you up in this well-lit, high-ceilinged space. Ready, buddy? And go. Something that I love about this upstairs studio space are the really high ceilings. They make it feel like I'm almost in a tree house because outside is nature and inside is where the creative process happens. I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite areas that are in my home studio, as well as one extra special area that one of my kids has kind of created as her own. Violet's studio space, we're at the far end of my larger studio, and what I love about this space is that it's kind of tucked away in the back corner of the larger room. And what that allows Violet to do is have her own space to be tidy, to put things away. Everything has its own space and place. Violet's office, she hangs this up in the area because it's not an enclosed, contained space, but it does have a little divider. What I love about Violet's sort of assortment of materials is that she uses professional grade art supplies. These are some of her favorite alcohol ink markers. And what I love about this is that she can tidy her things and put them away after she's done using them. All the supplies in the rest of the studio in my space are also available to all of my kids and their friends when they come over, or when I'm doing a small workshop or class here in my studio. McGuffin even can get into the supplies from time to time. We like to use different zip pouches to put our materials into. Maybe I'm sitting through a swim practice or a dance lesson. I try really hard to not hop on my phone and instead access my art supplies and work in a small sketchbook when I'm out and about. That's about it for this little corner of the studio. Let's go check out something else. When I left the classroom full-time teaching, I set up this studio and really have made it more my personal business, my personal teaching space. It really came out of a need for a little bit more balance in my life. In the years of teaching and doing art therapy, one of the things I really rely on is creating a curriculum that is based out of the constructive process. Building with materials, layering things, engaging in the creative process. And I've had a lot of freedom to do that in my time, in my personal space that I have turned into my studio and classroom. So I want to talk a little bit more about the supplies that I have, because I have this one main area. It's all papers, board books, cardstock, and that's all here kind of in my display photography area, because I also photograph and sell all of my own work through my business. This is the blank white wall where I photograph most of my work. So it's really nice because these carts are portable. They can be rolled around the giant table. One of the things I've learned that's become a really helpful tool for me are these clear acrylic bins. In this clear bin, we have tubes of paint. I love the Amsterdam acrylic brand. It has really nice coverage, but can be used for student grade or professional grade. Tubs of gesso. This is not yogurt, but I keep tubs of gesso in here as well. And again, this way it makes cleanup really easy from the table to bring things away to put them back onto the carts. Here are 3 different racks that we've hung up using shower rods and 3/4 inch dowels. These 3 racks are really important. I use on the daily for packing and shipping work and for putting out butcher paper when my kids or students are working on the floor. And then up here, other little knickknacks that I've collected along the way. And then another really awesome kind of organized space here in the studio classroom is where I keep all of my brushes, recycled tubs and plastics for when I do painting. And then my biggest Monstera plant baby, which is here in my studio. She's the mother of it all. These I put together with the help of a couple friends who helped to refresh my studio space. so that it felt more authentic to me. I love that we were able to paint the steel legs of the table and then put together 2 large rectangles that made this 6 foot by 6 foot area. And what I loved about this studio kind of refresh when we put together my classroom up here was that there was going to be space to see all of the different pens. They are all held in these mason jars, and I have brushes and other pens as well. And they're all available to use. I keep this in the middle of the table so that my kids or students or friends can use them. But they really are, it really is a special thing about this space. I felt like it was really important to share with you some of the titles that I rely on in my creative practice. I love Find Your Artistic Voice by Lisa Congdon. This is an older book about collaborative art making with kids and how it can transform communities. Women in Art. Another recent title that I love and that I've been sharing with as many people as I can is How to Be a Creative Changemaker. I just feel like those are really important to shout out because they are resources that I really love. For joining me today in my home, artists. I'm so thrilled that I got to show you around. Bye.